From the Good News Broadcasting Studio headquarters here in Nairobi, my name is Judiciary and this is The Insight, where we tend to focus on politics and current affairs. We enlighten you and educate you on things that are happening on the political landscape of Kenya and beyond. And of course, as we are trying to reach at par with these issues, of course, we bring on board various stakeholders who together we discuss these issues. Well, tonight, we focus on succession politics and our leaders, and we look at how our leaders have employed various plots, schemes, and tricks towards their 2022 matrices and calculations. And of course, we also look at the past to explain the present. And of course, through them, we understand how the future will be shaped. Ladies and gentlemen, stay put as we delve into this high-voltage discourse. Of course, you can get us on GBS TV Africa, on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, and share your ideas there with us. You can also get me at Eugene Ochieng Kwach on the same social media platforms. You can share with us also at our SMS line, that is 21144. Our guest tonight, my guests are Joseph Ngigi Wambuge. Joseph Ngigi Wambugu is a leadership expert and is with us tonight. We are discussing the succession politics 2022. My other guest is Akivaga Jayuga. Akivaga Jayuga is a lawyer and a political analyst. Akivaga Jayuga is also on the show so that we can walk the talk. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Well, we're moving one-on-one on the questions. And let me ask you, Akivaga Jayuga, can President Uhuru Kenyatta secure support for Raila Amolo Odinga even as we're heading towards 2022? There has been talks that, of course, we've had, and it's on record, that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the president, the incumbent, is supporting Raila Amolo Odinga. Do you think there is any way in which he can consolidate support in the mountain for Raila Amolo Odinga, which is currently we have the deputy president getting support from the mountain largely? What do you think about that?
Thank you so much, Eugene, for having me in your show. I agree that Uhuru Kenyatta can secure support for Raila Amolo Odinga. But the amount of support that I feel he can secure for Raila Amolo Odinga is confined to the support maybe from his close family, relatives. And if it's so much, then maybe just to the extended family point of view. But when it comes to the tangible Mount Kenya support, I think that is a tall order, as it has been alluded to in the previous days by various commentators, various researchers, the experts of the opinion polls, how they have shown, is that selling Raila Amolo Odinga in central Kenya is akin to hawking pork in a mosque somewhere in the Middle East. So it's not something that is close to any possibility. That is a pipe dream. And if Raila Amolo Odinga is banking on the person of Uhuru Kenyatta to secure support for him in the mountain, then I feel, with all due respect, Raila Amolo Odinga is in a very long sleep, and somebody needs to wake him up if that is what he's banking on to ascend to the presidency.
Ngigi Wambugu, can Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta consolidate support for Raila Amolo Odinga in the Mount Kenya?
Thank you so much, Eugene, for having me in the show.
Thank you. Welcome.
What I'd like to correct my friend Akivaga simply
Yes.
is that Uhuru doesn't need to consolidate any support for Raila.
Okay.
Uhuru, all he needs is get a small chunk to top up the Raila votes.
Okay.
He really doesn't need to consolidate any votes for Raila. And what happens in Central? Uhuru comes for Limuru 1, he comes for Limuru 2, there is a change.
Okay.
He comes for Sagana 1, Sagana 2, there is a change.
Okay.
Always. When he talks about BBI, he's still our son from Nyeri. I can tell you I'm from that side. Definitely, the moment Uhuru will talk positively of Raila and comes out and says that I want Raila as the president,
Uhuru is from Nyeri.
be very sure that Raila doesn't need all these votes that people are looking for. He doesn't need 100%.
Okay.
Ruto needs 100% of the vote that Uhuru got. But Raila just needs a small chunk. Around 20%, 30% is enough for him for Central to top up his vote and become the president.
Okay.
So Uhuru doesn't need even to consolidate that big vote.
Okay.
He only needs to get pockets of people, pockets of the vote, and the moment he brings them to the Raila side, it doesn't matter if it's pork in Saudi Arabia or wherever they are talking about,
Okay.
leave alone the Ruto supporters. The moment Uhuru comes and talks to the Central people,
What makes you think that when Uhuru just comes to Central and says that and talks,
There's
like
a reason,
you're
there's
saying
a
Limuru
reason.
1, Limuru 2, you're also talking about Sagana 1, Sagana 2.
Yeah.
What difference did it make? And
There's a
what has it
tentative-
made in the
there's a
country?
tentative meeting.
Because as far as I'm concerned, the deputy president still has a lot mass support in the mountain.
you know what happens in the mountain?
Yes.
The president is not, they don't get their candidate immediate.
Okay.
It's not that they planned on Ruto yesterday. So, honestly, changing that whole block is a tall order.
Okay.
But then, also what you need to know, there are many undecided voters.
Okay.
There are so many voters who don't know where they're going to cast their vote.
Okay.
And that will be determined. And that's why you see there's an accelerated development in Central. And that's why you see a person like Uhuru comes to Central to launch projects. He's coming, by the way, there's a tentative meeting on 10th of September
Okay.
in Sagana.
What is it about?
It's about the politics of the region.
Okay.
It's a Sagana 3-4 meeting.
What do we expect in that meeting?
In that meeting, you expect the leaders, the opinion shapers of Central, the MPs who are allied to President Kenyatta,
Yes.
they are coming to chart the political destiny of the mountain. So after that meeting, you'll see some sustained efforts towards changing the narrative in the mountain.
Okay.
DP Ruto has had a four-year narrative which has not been countered. It was countered in Kiamba. You saw what happened.
Okay.
They said Uhuru is their candidate. They said Kariri Njama was bringing ODM to Kiamba. It went 50-50
Okay.
in a period of 2 weeks. You see? So wait until everyone is campaigning. Right now it's a one-horse race. No one else is campaigning. DP Ruto is campaigning alone in the mountain.
Okay.
He has no competition.
Let me respond to the false assertions
Yes.
that have been made by Ngige. Number one, Ngige is deliberately misrepresenting some statistical figures and using that misrepresentation to draw a picture of Raila Amolo Odinga winning the presidency by only requiring 20% of the votes from Mount Kenya. I think that is a blatant misrepresentation of that figure, because he is forgetting
Yes.
that even by them giving Raila Amolo Odinga that 20%,
Yes.
Raila Amolo Odinga is losing more than that in other regions that were previously perceived to be his strongholds. Number one, Raila Amolo Odinga is continuing losing support in regions like Western. He's losing support in regions like Ukambani. He's losing support in regions like Coast, where we, the UDA fraction, are getting support. We are even having an MP there in the name of Omar, or in the name of, I'm forgetting his name. But we are getting support everywhere. He's even losing support in the Northeastern region by telling the people of Northeastern region that, you know, we are going to take some chunk of whatever is being allocated to you by the Commission of Revenue Allocation.
Okay.
So he's losing support in those regions. And he's talking about the Sagana meeting. The Sagana meeting has never been effective. Talking about Sagana meeting to changing the perception among the members of the Central Kenya is like Of course, when he goes there, that particular day, you know, they'll be celebrating. Yes, we have our man has come, the son of the soil has come back. He is coming to give us direction. And you know what? That happens. That is akin to throwing a red jacket on a chameleon. The chameleon, of course, will turn its color to be red. But when you leave that red jacket, it will go back to another color. So using Sagana meetings as a thermometer, a barometer to measure the political chances of Mount Kenya combining and coming together to support Raila Amolo Odinga is false. Lastly, I think Ngige is, how can I call it? He's being contemptuous towards the people of Mount Kenya, people from his own backyard, by thinking that they cannot make their own decisions and choose whomever they want to be president, by stating that these people have to wait for Uhuru to come and tell them whom they need to vote for, by telling us that the people of Mount Kenya will make a decision after Uhuru Kenyatta has come to lecture them at the Sagana Lodge. I mean, the people of Mount Kenya, as I believe, and I respect them, and I have interacted with them, they are people with brains, with an ability to make decisions on their own volition, on their own accord, without the input, secondary input from anybody else.
Just two things. Two things. I would like to know the gauge that he's using to measure the popularity of Raila Amolo Odinga. That is losing popularity. Which seat has he lost? Which seat has UDA gained that was not theirs? Because UDA is extended Jubilee.
Yes, sir.
They are saying they have 130 MPs. Then that is extended Jubilee. The Jubilee, let's assume Jubilee is dead. If it's not there, they should have the whole of Jubilee in their side. So they should not be talking about if UDA won a seat somewhere near Jubilee's own. That's not a gain. That's not a gain at all. Secondly, the last, just 1 second. There's something he said, being contemptuous. I've said Mount Kenya doesn't choose a candidate in one day. I don't know where he got that from. Whatever he
they
said.
have to wait for Uhuru to come to
No, I didn't say that. I said they chose Ruto a long time ago. That's what I meant. Maybe I didn't say it. They chose Ruto a long time ago. But then there are pockets of undecided voters. And if that pocket of undecided voters tilts toward Raila, definitely, it's game done.
Let me ask you this. What is your assessment of the current political situation in the country generally, from where you sit?
Currently?
Yes.
Currently, we are slowly making a big step towards Armageddon. If I've gotten your question very well, you've asked about the current political dynamics.
Yes.
And I think the point of attention right now has been the person and the office of the Deputy President, William Samoei Ruto. We have seen over the past days whatever has been happening. Deliberate attempt to provoke the people from his backyard who form the substance of his supporters. Deliberate attempt to demean his office by reducing the downgrading, rather by going against the statutory prescribed level of security that he needs to have, by removing the GSU from his premises and replacing them with the AP, who I feel indeed they are equally qualified, and even the Deputy President is of the same opinion that yes, they are equally qualified. But again here, we look at the intention. The intention was to provoke. The intention was to demean. The intention was to bring war at our doors. And I feel if this trend shall continue, if the security of the Deputy President is going to be contingent to the whimsical arbitrariness of an overzealous state officer in the name of Inspector General of Police, in the name of the Minister of Cabinet Secretary of Interior, then I think these are seeds of volatility they're trying to broadcast. And I feel from where I sit, if they continue that way, then this country is headed to the wrong direction. Differ with the person, differ with William Samoei Ruto in whichever way you can, but accord him the respect that the Constitution prescribes. Accord him the security that his office deserves.
Ngige, Akivaga is saying there has been an attempt to demean the office of the deputy president. He also says that actually the AP are equally qualified as the GSU, but they think that the notion or whatever was behind it all was because of they wanted to to provoke the deputy president. What do you make of all this?
Let me say, I don't want to delve into the matter of whatever Matiang'i said yesterday.
Yes.
The CS of internal security. What I would like to delve into is the meaning of whatever happened yesterday. And I learned two things.
Yes.
The deputy president is corrupt.
Okay.
The deputy president is not a hustler. Do you know why I concluded those two things?
Tell me.
The first thing, this guy has 2 hangars, 5 choppers. There are airlines in Wilson Airport, people who have worked closely with, who have no hangar. An airline, I'm not talking about a person, an airline doesn't have a hangar. Secondly, this guy is corrupt. Why? Look at the Mutara, the ADC land. When some time ago, I remember, Karake Mbuki, he was assistant minister. When he came to parliament, Karake Mbuki said this. Among the beneficiaries of ADC land, top amongst them was William Ruto. Second was Ntimamu. And let me tell you, just imagine that guy, he was MP. He had allocated himself 59,000 acres of land, leaving the development corporation with 1,000 acres of land. Can you imagine that? That's the person they want to vote for to become the president. Away from that, there's a question you asked me.
Yes. Do you want to demean, was the intention to demean the deputy president?
One thing he doesn't know.
Yes.
The richest country in Africa is which one? South Africa. Their president has 81 officers. Theirs is 257. Now they want to say the president of the richest country is not guarded, as in according to them. Is there any sense?
Eugene,
Yes.
now that is bringing up the issues of the presidency being guarded, and it's drawing a dichotomy between the president of South Africa and the president and the deputy president. I think that is a false dichotomy. If you are going to talk about the president of South Africa, then talk about how the president of this country is being guarded. Oh, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Using his own assertion, the president of the richest country in Africa has 81 guards. How many guards are guarding the president of the Republic of Kenya and this entire family? If the information that was doing circles yesterday is anything to go by, allegedly, he's someone who is being guarded by close to 3,000 police officers. Let's talk about that. Let's not compare the president of South Africa to the deputy president of this republic. Let us compare the president of South Africa
And there's
to the
no
president
problem.
of this republic.
Absolutely no
Whom
problem.
he is supporting.
Absolutely no problem. Do you know why there were feathers that were raised yesterday?
Tell us.
Because there's a pretense. These guys are on a sympathy drive. There's nothing. There's a pretense that this guy is a hustler. You see, that's what raised all these notions.
Yes.
Uhuru has never said that he is a hustler. He has accepted readily he's a dynasty.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
So the feathers were raised because if Ruto had accepted like today, like he has said today, I'm no hustler.
Okay.
Eugene.
There will be no, he has been saying, I'm a problematic guy like you, I have problems like you, I have
Okay,
Let me first of all point out to something that you said. It is this contemptuous attitude that these people have towards hustlers that is continuing to consolidate the support base of William Ruto along the social economic lines instead of the ethnic regional conundrum that you wish us to have. because they believe as a hustler, you should live your life forever doing menial businesses at the construction site. They believe as a hustler, you're not supposed to rise until one day you own a helicopter.
I think you got me wrong.
They believe that a hustler is not supposed to own any farm in this country, that all the farms are supposed to be owned by the dynasties. And if a hustler has a farm, then it becomes an issue. Then it becomes an issue which they want to fight using all the machinery they have. So this contemptuous attitude that they have towards hustlers is what is causing William Ruto to continue gaining support. We believe as a hustler, you can rise from the trenches, rise through the ranks, reach at a point whereby you can own a farm, even 2 acres.
Okay,
you can own even
a
cow.
I'll give you a chance.
He doesn't believe that.
To give a rejoinder,
They don't
then we
believe
can
in
move
that.
to the next issue if you don't mind.
Okay, in the same way he's saying that's contemptuous. That's conmanship. They are conmen. Let me tell you. In the whole circle that they have, it's led by their chief, their chief,
The chief hustler.
The chief hustler. They know what they're doing. They're just joking around with Kenyans' minds.
What do they do?
Let me tell you, these guys are no hustlers. These guys are rich people. People who have accumulated 18,400 acres in a span of 9 years. These guys.
Let me just ask you this. What is the difference between a hustler and a dynasty?
According to what they have.
Let me just get it from your perspective. What is the dynasty? What is a hustler?
Okay, let me tell you. There are 3 classifications. A dynasty is someone who stole when people are foolish. Okay? As a hustler is someone who stole when people are clever. And then there are sufferers. Those people who are used by hustlers in stealing. You see? So you are the one who to categorize yourself wherever you are. Between the 3 people, you categorize yourself wherever you are. So you have understood
So
that
you said Uhuru is a dynasty.
Uhuru, I cannot dictate for him because personally, I only hear. First of all, the properties we are being told they are guarded by. We don't know if they are guarded on the privilege of his father or himself.
Okay.
Because first of all, do we know if he says that it is like the mausoleum? He's counting the guards at the mausoleum at the KACC, where his father's remains are. Right? There are 6 guards. Okay. Have they started being guarded when Uhuru came into power?
No.
The people who are being guarded by Ruto, they were started. That commenced when Ruto became deputy president.
Eugene,
yes.
You had asked a question.
Yes. Hustler.
The difference between a hustler
and a dynasty.
I want to distance myself from any of his definitions. Because he has defined a hustler and a dynasty. He has drawn some 3 stratifications. And he has said all of them are thieves. I am not a thief. I am not a thief. So I don't fall into any of his stratifications, any of his definitions. Let me tell you, the difference between a hustler and a dynasty is this. A dynasty is a person who had his parents, or rather one of his relatives, in the position of power before. And due to that fact, that his parents or his relatives were once in the position of power, he believes that power is his own birthright, and hence no any other person should rise from outside, come and take over the thrones of leadership. But a hustler, who is a hustler? A hustler is a person that has done work, that has suffered, that has borne the brunt of the harsh economic realities of the administrations of the world, of this country, and who has progressed, has kept the faith, has prayed, has fasted, and has risen to a position whereby he's owning something here, he's owning something there, and he's looking for a position here, and he's looking for a position there. This is a hustler. And
so let me ask let me ask Akivaga. So Akivaga, does it mean that the sons of the Deputy President William Ruto are dynasties?
When that time comes, we'll have that conversation because none of his sons has wanted to be the president. But we know the son of the son of the first president of this country has wanted to be the president and has got it.
I think
we know the son of the first deputy president, the first vice president of this country He wants to be the president.
Just
We know
one
the
second.
sons of the people who have been ministers in the past regime want to be
My-
president.
my-
And
my
they have no
colleague-
qualification apart from their father was
My
a
colleague-
president somewhere.
Okay,
My
Their
colleague-
father
my
was a
colleague-
minister somewhere.
Okay,
My colleague Akivaga is very bright. My colleague Akivaga explains dynasty according to the dictionary.
Okay, let us
But
just
then
put it-
Hasler,
Yes, yes.
he explains according to his words.
Okay.
Have you noted that?
Okay, let us put it this way. So let me ask you another question. Let us go to something else. Because the relationship between the deputy president and the president is at the rock bottom. Who should tone down fast? Let me ask you.
The junior, simple.
Why?
There is nothing else. The junior is the one who went to campaign. You know, let me tell you, the whole beef about the deputy and the president is about undermining him in his backyard.
Yes.
Simple as that. There's nothing else.
Okay.
All these other things is PR. Actually, Ruto is just pretending that he's obedient to the Nini, but he's not.
Okay.
He was told to stop campaigning, he didn't.
Let me hear from you, Akivaga. Well, we have the relationship between the deputy president and the president at rock bottom. And what do you think? Who should tone down fast? And what do you think, even as the country is suggesting, people, commentators, the political pundits are suggesting that there should be an handshake between the president and the deputy. What do you think?
Eugene,
Yes.
where there is conflict,
Yes.
there is nothing like somebody toning down fast. What I need and what is required of this country is to respect the institutions and the people who are in those institutions. There's nothing like turning down fast. If you are taking away security from me,
Yes.
how do you expect me to turn down? Yet you are taking away what I was granted, not by your favor, out of your favor, but constitutionally given to me by the people of this country when they woke up in the morning to go and vote for me. So the person who should turn down fast, in this instance, I think even neither of them should turn down fast. But the question should be, who should accord the other one the respect? Then I can tell you, then the president should accord the deputy president the respect he deserves, and everything will be back to normalcy.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Yo.
Something I'd like Akivaga to know. Just a minute.
Yes. Before we go for a short
Weakness.
break. Yes.
Weakness, it is not pitied, it is exploited.
Yes.
The moment Akivaga keeps saying that his security was done or whatever,
Yes.
it is in the public domain.
Okay.
He is not. It wasn't downgraded.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the insight. Of course, we are going for a short break, but we'll be right back with much more. Here with Akivaga Jayuga, who is a lawyer and a political analyst. We also have a leadership expert here, Ngige Wambugu. And don't go away. Welcome back to The Insight. This is where you find all conversations concerning politics and current affairs and issues. Of course, right here in The Insight, you can talk to us, you can SMS us. Our SMS line is 21144. You can also use our social media platforms. Find us there. Talk to us, engage with us. That is at GBS TV Africa, at Judiciary. Well, the conversation is going on, and of course, let me ask you, Akivaga Jayuga, are we likely to see any major political upsets in Kenya going forward to 2022 in succession politics?
Politics is not about an elevator. The political process is more of a staircase climbing. So there is no magic wand that any person can come with in the home stretch minutes and try to say, I'm the best candidate and goes ahead to win. Because when you look historically, everybody that has been the president, there has been a process that has been followed to bring him to that position of the presidency. Either he himself participated in the process or somebody else participated in molding him. A good example, you see, in the 1990s when Moi was about to retire, and when he plucked Uhuru Kenyatta from his businesses, gave him the position of the KANU chair in Gatundu, plucked him again when he failed against Moses Muhia, the 1987 elections. He took him to the tourism board. Later on, he made Makto to resign from the nominated member of parliament, appointed, replaced Makto with Uhuru Kenyatta. Subsequently, appointed Uhuru Kenyatta to be the Minister of Local Government, and et cetera, and et cetera. It's a process. You don't just come from nowhere. Either somebody has to cultivate you or you cultivate yourself. The same thing happened there. So Uhuru Kenyatta came, of course, he vied and he lost, and that was a process. Later on, he emerged, came through the process, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, etc., and he won. 2013, again, the same process. William Ruto, from the time, and Uhuru Kenyatta, they had prepared themselves. William Ruto, from back then, and then they were just brought together by the ICC thing. The demographics were in their favor, euphoric support, in their respective regions. So until even right now, for you to ascend the office of the presidency, you have to campaign, you have to interact with the people, you have to climb the staircase. You don't sit at home and wait for the final day to be given the presidency. This mistake has been done before by people like Musalia Mudavadi and Kalonzo Musyoka. In the year 2013, before 2013, Kalonzo Musyoka was following the Ruto and the Uhuru brigade in the so-called G7 alliance. He was following them, hoping that the court won't allow them to vie, so that he vies as the compromise candidate and to get the presidential seat. It never happened. Mudavadi was there when he went to join forces with the Uhuru and Ruto, that they share it 33% and 30%. He's simply campaigning in his Nairobi abode, but if these people are going to the villages, trying to marshal support from the base, and he's waiting to be given the presidency, just because William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta had the case in the ICC. He saw that presidency in the, what we call the view sasa, probable view sasa. So there's people are repeating the same mistake right now.
And you have right now Jimmy Wanjigi. What is the
Kalonzo Musyoka has been repeating the same mistake. Moses Wetangula has been repeating the same mistake. Musalia Mudavadi has been repeating the same mistake. Jimmy Wanjigi coming into the equation, to me, he has shown, in fact, what he has done in the previous months, in the short time that he has been at the political limelight, is far much more than what people like Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula have been doing ever since they expressed their interest to be the president. Jimmy Wanjigi is from central Kenya. He is campaigning under ODM, a party that predominantly has its base in Nyanza, and is going. You see, the other day he even marshaled Eric Omondi to gun up support for him. He's going to all the places. I mean, engaging with the media, telling the media what he has to offer, something which people like Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula have never done. So to me, where I feel is that whereas Jimmy Wanjigi might not really end up being that successful, but for what it is, he has done more than what these other people have been doing. And right now, if when you go to elections, Jimmy Wanjigi won't be the last person. At least he will be above Moses Wetangula. He'll be above Musalia Mudavadi. He'll be above even Kalonzo Musyoka, if he proceeds with the same energy that he started with.
Okay. Let me get it from you.
Let me tell you, one day in politics is a very long time. However, if we were to use his logic, Raila should be president before Ruto. Away from that, we might experience upsets. You know the reason why? Actually, the vote that right now has not aligned itself is only the Mount Kenya vote. It's aligned itself almost 80% to Ruto. I cannot negate that. But then there is a vote that there is a way that there is something that can happen. Like for example, what if Moses Kuria and his soldiers bolt out together with Mwangi Kionjori and they form a coalition, central coalition? Are you so sure that that coalition won't get its 40% from central? Saying that we are championing the interest of the central people. that's what I'm saying. There might be a very major upset that might find William Ruto becoming even number 3 of the presidential race. He might not even be number 2, leave alone number 1. So it depends on how the Mount Kenya vote is the swing vote. It's not yet, because there is no candidate.
Okay.
There is no candidate in Mount Kenya. If you look at Western, if Mudavadi vies, it's them and Mudavadi. If it's Nyanza, that one is gone. Rift Valley, it's gone. Ukambani is gone. But Mount Kenya, there is no that alignment.
Okay.
For Jimmy Wanjigi, I'd like to say this. It's inconsequential. Raila owns ODM. ODM is Raila. So whether when Jimmy Wanjigi minus money is 0. He is nothing. If you bring, but Raila even without even 1 shilling, he's still the Raila. So Jimmy Wanjigi is inconsequential, whether he gets into ODM, whether he's picked as the flag bearer. That one is not even a question. This is just gimmick. There's nothing like picking him as flag bearer. But then the Mount Kenya vote, if a coalition comes up that involves the Mount Kenya leaders, the people that you're seeing aligning.
There are allegations that Jimmy Wanjigi is not a man of himself, that there might be someone else who...
Behind him.
Yes.
And Jimmy Wanjigi is vying on himself, depending on what he said about Raila the other day.
Okay.
Jimmy Wanjigi is a man of himself. Okay. You see? He's rolled out his campaign. He's doing his campaign. Personally, he's funding it. So he's a man on his own. You see? But then, I'm saying, if there comes up a coalition of central leaders, that one will change things.
Okay, let me hear from you, sir.
Let me just say this.
And yes.
You should be calling people to inquire if they have had enough sleep before they come.
Yes.
So that we avoid coming to dream here.
Yes.
Live show. Because in real sense, Ngige was dreaming when he started that William Ruto can emerge at number 3 position. In which country? In which part of the world? Is it in Mars or is it in somewhere in Venus? That is impossible. That can't happen. It has never been possible for a person who has been campaigning for all those years, who has been the political arena of his person and the front runner, as a matter of fact right now.
But reading is not getting results.
Okay, are you done, Akivaga? Now let me ask you this question. Let me ask you, Wangige. In an interview with Jimmy Wanjigi, says that the SGR was programmed for a 59 billion, but 55 billion, right? But we have here the SGR that we have from Mombasa to Nairobi, taking around 396 billion. Is it depicting something, or does it show something about our leaders who are at the top? And of course, we have the deputy president, the president at the top.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, the buck starts with the president. But then, who was responsible for the running of that SGR? It was the deputy president. He's the one who was given the mandate. He's the one who takes credit for it. In fact, Uhuru has talked very few times about the SGR. Saying about the way they've constructed the SGR, it's rare. The person who takes credit for the SGR and the very many roads that you keep saying that they have been hyped, the money has been hyped, it's the deputy president. So I know the buck stops with the president. He's the one who is supposed to say that the money that was supposed to be used was this one, but who takes credit for it? He should take the credit for the failures too. Yeah.
It is such a logical fallacy of unprecedented proportions for someone to say that the buck stops with the president, then goes ahead to quantify the amount of that buck. It's simple. If the buck stops with the president, it stops with the president. The money was stolen under whose regime? Under the regime of none other than the 4th president of the Republic of Kenya. And the commander-in-chief and the commander of the armed forces.
And the president gladly accepted this. There was something wrong.
Okay.
But then, then comes a person who takes credit for the nini,
So
but refuses to take credit for the inadequacies.
If there was something
It can
wrong,
never happen.
He is the president.
And he accepted there was something wrong.
There is nothing
So
like acceptance. We need
let me ask you,
accountability.
Akivaga, let me ask you this.
Not acceptance.
Going forward, what kind of leaders do we need? Because if we should go by track records, do you think that we should go by track records and look at what this person has done? If this was, if he was a prime minister, what has he done during his time on his watch? If he was the deputy president, what happened during his time? Should we vote them depending on the track records? What should we use in choosing the leaders
Ordinarily,
of tomorrow?
Ordinarily,
Yes.
what has been happening in the past
Yes.
in this country? Leaders have been coming to the people, telling the people, if you elect me, I'll do this, I'll do this. If you elect me, I'll stop corruption. If you elect me, I'll bring electricity. If you elect me, I'll make sure roads are constructed. If you elect me, I'll make sure that I pump the economy with the necessary amount so that the employment opportunities can be created in their numbers. That has been the trend. But I feel in the next coming elections, that one will stop. Because what we've realized is that most of these leaders don't keep their promises. They come, they campaign in poetry, but they go and govern in prose. And the effect of that is that we continue to remain in the same state of despondency, year in, year out. So this time round, the hustlers have gone looking for the person that we will front. We have used even a torch, daylight, searching for that person. We have found that person. And now we are telling this person is, look, up to now, we understand you have baggages, just like the rest of the leaders who have baggages. Some of them, we know, they have been part of the cartels that have been stealing maize money from Kaziko Vijana. We know some of them have been stealing pesa for the construction of Makaburi, cemeteries. So we know all of them have baggages when we look at them. But now, what we are saying is this. The hustlers, we are searching for a person, and we won't allow this person to tell us what he'll do for us. We are telling this person, we are telling you what we want you to do for us. Are you getting it? So we are taking this person to status, telling him what he will do for us. We're no longer interested in him telling us what he will do for us. And that is why you are seeing William Ruto has been calling people from different regions, not even calling, different delegations have been seeking audience with him in his Karena board to tell him what they want him to do for them when he ascends to that office of the presidency. So that is the dynamics have changed. So the leader that we need right now is the leader whom the Mwananchi can give instructions. And if he won't follow on that instructions, then the next step that we are heading into is a revolution that will be inevitable. So William Ruto, we are giving him these instructions. And we shall follow it up with it through extensive citizen monitoring program to make sure that all the agendas, all the priorities, the action plans have been taken, those priorities, and we awaken to a new dawn of a progressive Kenya.
According to Akivaga, what I hear is that track record is not anything to go by. A leader, of course, according to our constitution, as stipulated in the constitution, chapter 6, generally, from what I get from it, generally a leader should have a Caesar's type of personality. You look at all these leaders that we have, who do you think that has got a lesser baggage and look at them and says that this person can take Kenya forward?
Okay, first of all, before this thought runs away, things like revolutions are just hot air. Don't listen to that. Secondly, he says they're not interested in poetry. Do you remember the 6 stadiums in Kamarinyi? 6 stadiums in... Yes. It was the hustler.
And we know who the backs.
What?
Who he was campaigning.
Have you ever asked yourself, among the promises that were given, have you ever heard Uhuru talking of stadiums?
No.
He is never. They can't bring up one video Uhuru talking about stadiums. Now, to your question, I believe the best person to run this country he should be... The problem that bedevils us is integrity and trust.
Okay.
Okay? And the moment we get an individual who is not corrupt at all,
Do you have that person in the country currently?
we have one close to that, Raila Amolo Odinga.
Okay.
If we get,
Just-
if
The one of Kazi kwa Vijana, just in case you don't
okay.
forget.
if we start highlighting here Ruto's corrupt dealings, my friend, we'll get out of here tomorrow.
Let's start.
So let's not stop. Let's not start.
No,
let's not
start.
go that
Let's
direction.
start. I'm willing to go to that direction. Let him table them, and I'll respond to each and every of those corruption
From
allegations.
okay, Western.
Now, let me clarify about the issue of
Okay,
Western.
okay. Let's
Okay.
not go into that. Let's not
Okay,
go into
that
that.
I'm
will be a
willing.
very,
Let's
it will
not
be
go
a
into that.
very
Let's not go
okay.
into
I'm
that.
willing.
Listen.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. BBI was meant to bring people together. That is how the promoters told us. It was going to create executive seats, more seats actually. And it was, above that, it was going to change the political landscape and the political architecture of Kenya going forward. What do you think? Do you think that maybe the dream of the president and the former prime minister of uniting Kenya might not be has been short-lived, and we might not reach there? Or what do you think?
One thing I'd like to say
Yes.
is that the moment we cast our votes as Kenyans, our power ends there. The power goes to the legislature,
Okay.
right? And if you are not represented properly in the legislature, then it means you're not being governed as it is supposed to be. How can you explain that Roiro has 800,000 people who vote and Lamu has 140,000 people, yet Lamu receives thrice the amount of money that goes to Roiro? How can you explain that? So I wonder, okay, the dream has not been, definitely the president who we are going to vote for, who we are going to advocate for, is someone who is going to promise us that the BBI dream will be realized in his government. Whether through parliament or through the way it's going to be realized. But then we are not going to vote for someone who shows us that he hates us. You understand? Now that one I'm talking as a Mount Kenya person.
Okay.
Okay? Because you can't explain how Kiambu, with its population, has very few, 12 constituencies instead of 17. Yet we know that per constituency is supposed to have how many people? 135,000. Okay? But then you find a constituency with 600,000 people. That one cannot work. It can never work. So BBI will come to be realized, but then it will be realized by the next president through hook or crook.
Jayuga.
Yes, Eugene. Number one,
Yes.
we don't want people to unite us. Kenyans have the ability, the mental wherewithal, and the necessary infrastructure they need to unite themselves. We unite ourselves daily through marriages. We unite ourselves daily through having drinks. We unite ourselves daily through attending different functions. We unite ourselves daily through going to sport activities. We unite ourselves daily in church. So there is nothing like somebody coming from the Mars, from the moon, and trying to unite us. Getting it? So the BBI was not meant to unite anybody. It was simply meant to create political positions for people. It was a sort of a pre-election pact.
Don't you think that by creating positions for people, it will be an inclusive government whereby we will be having different
we are
tribes
creating positions for people,
Yes.
and not for positions for tribe. They were seeking to create positions for 5 tribes, 5 main tribes.
Okay.
We are a country of over 50 tribes. We are a country of over 50 tribes. So if you want to include 5 tribes, what are you telling the other 50 tribes? That they don't belong to this country? Or what do you want to tell them? So what we are saying is this. The BBI was simply meant to create positions for the 5 big boys, and not the 5, and not the tribes, so that we can achieve peace as a country.
Okay.
So we are glad it died like that.
Just on...
And it is wrong for him to start saying that they need to address the situation whereby people in Loda with a population of 800,000 Kenya shillings. I mean, getting funds that are more than maybe the people in Kiambu. First of all, it's wrong. The people of Kiambu get more.
Let me go
Okay.
to the agenda
Resources.
for you.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
There is something he just said. It's escaping me. Oh, there is something. There are 5 tribes.
Yes.
There is something I'd like to say. It wasn't solving historical injustices in that manner. There was an office being created for leader of opposition. That's the way, in a setting that this one has lost. You don't go home with your 6 million votes that you've lost. You go home. How do you go home? While your 6 million,
Okay.
they will feel left out.
Okay, gentlemen, as we come to the end of this show, let me ask you about the judiciary. Well, the judiciary has always played a very big role in the politics of this country. And of course, in 2013, it threw away the evidence that was brought by the opposition at that time. That is Raila Amolo Odinga and his team, CORD. In 2017, the court annulled the presidential election against the expectations of many, actually. And since then, the president and even the deputy, who ostensibly, with time, they have fallen apart, said that they will be reviewing the judiciary. What do you think as we are going towards 2022, where a lot of litigations are likely to happen? People could challenge electoral process, appointments, procurement of kits, et al. Have they revisited the judiciary to ensure that they have a friendly judiciary going towards 2022, bearing in mind that we of late have experienced contention between the executive and the judiciary? Let me start with you, sir.
Let me say this.
As you also give your final remarks, yes.
Yeah, let me say this. That the judiciary at its current position is practicing a lot of judicial activism, such that it's listening to so much noise outside its walls. The judiciary should act on the evidence that it's given. You see? Because if you look even at the High Court decision, for example, in the BBI, and the Court of Appeal decision, and look at what the Court of Appeal, though we respect the decision, we may not agree with it, but we respect it. If you look at what the Court of Appeal annulled, mostly it was what the High Court had ruled on outside the court, what it has been reading in tabloids. And so, what we would like to say, the judiciary should be a fair arbiter, devoid of any external forces. Because actually, right now, it's so in tatters, and we must experience a judiciary revolution not so long before
So
the
the question
2022.
was, as the contention that we are experiencing between the judiciary and the executive being as a result of the president or the executive at the time promising to
I believe the former Chief Justice
to revisit the judiciary.
Yeah, the former Chief Justice brought all these unease.
Okay.
You understand?
So the executive has
but
revisited.
right now,
Okay.
they are easing into each other.
Okay.
In the long run, it will be okay, everything.
Okay, let me get it from you, Akivagaja. You guys will also give us your final remarks.
It is in the separation of powers that citizens are protected. Hence, the separation of power principle in this country has to be maintained. The judiciary, established under Article 159 of the Constitution of Kenya, is given a mandate by the people of Kenya under Article 160 to exercise their authority by applying the principles of the Constitution and not by following any other person's authority. That is what it's been doing. That is what it has been looking forwards to buttressing in its philosophy. So there is nothing like that you can discuss more about the judiciary other than to applaud it for throwing the BBI to where it was supposed to be thrown, to the annals of history, to the dustbin of history. Let it be forgotten there.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for accepting my invite for the show. And thank you so much, viewer, for tuning in to GBS TV. You know that if it's Friday at 8 p.m., then of course we have here the Insight, where we discuss political issues. And of course here we enlighten you, we educate you through through intriguing conversations here with these experts with us every night, every Friday night. Well, on behalf of everyone who has made this happen, a reality, this show, do have a good night. My name is Eugene Ochieng Kwach.